Story 1 AITA for replacing any property of mine that my wife lends out or gives away from our travel savings. I love my wife very much, but we are from two different cultures. In hers, if a person needs something that you have, you give it to them. In mine, if you need something, you get a job, get paid, and buy what you need. While I earn most of our income, my wife runs a day home, takes care of our kids, and the house. We take our money and pay our bills, put some away for emergencies, our retirement, kids' education, etc. We also keep an account for traveling to visit her family or paying for her mom and dad to visit us. My wife has given away a bunch of my stuff because her family needed it. She gave my trekking backpack to one of her cousins because he needed a backpack. She could have bought him a $30 Costco backpack instead of giving away my $400 backpack, which he promptly got stolen. The last straw was my laptop. I was away for the weekend at a friend's wedding that she did not want to attend. Her auntie was visiting and said that my wife's brother needed a computer for schoolwork. Since all I ever did was play games on it, she gave it to her brother for university. I tried to get it back. She said it would be rude. I explained that the only reason all she saw me do with it was play games, that was because I was home. When I leave in the morning and take it with me, it is to go earn money doing a job I am paid for. She said I didn't have to talk to her like she is dumb, but she refused to ask for it back. I replaced it with money from the travel fund, which means that we will not be seeing her parents this Christmas. She is P. She said that I took money that belonged to both of us to buy myself something. I asked her where the money should come from. Should I take it out of our retirement, our kids' education? Does she want to cut off replacing the furnace with winter almost here? I said I could cancel that if she wanted. She said that I could have just put it on the credit card. I asked her to explain where the money to pay the credit card would come from. She thinks I'm treating her like an idiot. I think she needs to stop giving my things away. Story 2 AITA for punishing my daughter for not helping us search for my niece. My daughter 17 and niece 6 are the only grandkids in our family. My niece was a rainbow baby and the only child in our family, so naturally she gets a lot of attention. I found out about my daughter when she was 9, so we missed most of her childhood. My daughter is clearly jealous of her and has been very mean towards her. A few days ago we all went shopping and my niece went missing in the crowd. Naturally, we all panicked and started to search for her while my daughter was on her phone playing. I told her that niece is missing and she said good, I hope she is not found, and went back to her phone, so when we got home I grounded her for a month. She thinks I was the jerk, so I'm gonna give you a quick update while I figure out how to deal with her now. I decided to have a conversation with her about her feelings and behavior towards her cousin. We didn't have much of a conversation because she kept crying and screaming at me, listing all the times everyone ignored her or favored my niece. I honestly didn't realize how awful we have been to her. She is my little girl and I never meant to make her feel like this. I'm going to talk to my family and tell them we need to throw her a late birthday party since we had to skip her birthday because my niece was very sick. It will be a day only about her, and from now on we have to be more careful about how we treat her. I don't know what to do other than that, and I probably won't be giving any more updates since I have to go figure out what to do now. Story 3 AITA for refusing to pay more rent. My husband, 25 male, and I, 24 female, recently moved back to the state I'm from. My twin sister suggested that we all live together so that she can move out of our parents' house. At first, we were hesitant. However, we eventually agreed because it would be mutually beneficial. She found the place, a 3-bed at $1,295 a month plus utilities. When asking about how we would split up the rent plus utilities, she said that she would split everything 50/50 with us. This is an agreement we came to a few months ago. 2 weeks ago, we signed the lease plus moved in. We agreed that my husband plus I would share the larger bedroom. She would get one room, and she plus my husband would share the spare room as a home office, gaming room. We were all getting along great until my sister approached me, explaining that after she's done some thinking, she no longer believes that our original agreement is fair because we make more money than she does. For context, I make $29K a year, my husband makes $55K a year, and my sister makes $45K a year. She proceeded to suggest that we pay 2/3 rent plus utilities and that she pays 1/3. I was caught off guard by the conversation. I had to think about what she said and talk to my husband. I didn't want to argue with her or make her upset, so we negotiated down to us paying $800 while she pays $495 for rent, and that we would pay 65% of utilities. I still didn't feel right about this, but I tried seeing it from her POV. The next day, I spoke to my parents plus my aunt about it. My parents plus aunt both agreed that it was unfair for her to renegotiate now. After speaking with them, I realized that I needed to speak with her again plus insist that we go back to our original agreement. I approached her that night saying that I knew we had discussed this, but the more I thought and talked with my husband, who also felt it was unfair, the more I felt it was unfair for her to go back on our original agreement. Before I could finish explaining my first thought, she began to interrupt plus argue with me. She got upset and walked away from the conversation, saying that as soon as our lease was up, in 1 year, she would find somewhere else to live. At this point, I was shocked at how upset and angry she became. I ended up leaving the house for a bit with my husband to chat when I received a call from my parents. They explained that my sister had called them crying and yelling, saying that they needed to stay out of our business. She had the sentiment that she had been screwed over and that everyone was against her and taking my side. For context, she just bought a new car, not out of necessity, she just wanted a newer one. My dad said that he tried discussing bills with her, but she insisted she could afford it easily. I feel guilty, but my family is telling me that I did the right thing by sticking up for myself. Am I the asshole? This arrangement was my sister's idea from the beginning. She offered 50/50 split. If she told me she wanted me to pay more before, I would probably have chosen for my husband and I to live alone. When I say bigger room, our room is 15 by 12 feet. Hers is 12 by 12 feet. Also, I am very willing for us to pay 2/3 for utilities and she pay 1/3, so I will speak to her again once she's willing. This whole thing has been a whirlwind of big feelings and certainly not reflective of our lifelong relationship. We love each other very much, and neither of us would ever purposefully screw each other over. My sister left for a few days to stay with a friend. I texted her saying I was sorry about all this and that I wanted to discuss it further with her, and that I loved her, but she simply told me that she didn't want to speak to me. I was okay with that because I know she's upset with me, but then she proceeded to text again saying something that hurt my feelings quite a bit. We've always been so close, and it would be just insane for this to cause our whole relationship to blow up. I'm not going to just stick to my guns to make a point at the expense of our relationship. But she's also been saying and doing hurtful things that I think are going overboard. This is such a terrible situation TBH and I'm heartbroken about it. Story 4 AITA for shouting at my friend when she was trying to help me. I'm 16 female and the second of 7, 4 girls and 3 boys. Our sleeping situation isn't ideal at the moment because we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. The girls share one room, and the boys share the other and our mom sleeps in the main area with the baby. I currently share a bed with my 6-year-old sister, because my 4-year-old sister is a bedwetter. Myself and my mom are saving for a set of bunk beds but it's a while off yet. Recently, one of my friend's parents weren't able to collect her after school, and since my place was the closest to school she came over. We went into my room, where my sisters were playing and she noticed the 2 beds and asked where I sleep and so I told her I sleep with my sister and when she asked why I told her. Well, anyways, she went home and told her parents who reported my mom to child services, who paid us a visit. They said each child needs a bed of their own and they'll be coming back twice a month for checks and stuff until we do. Me and my mom are now really stressed and I've been missing school to take extra shifts so the school phoned family services again which just made things worse. I ended up going into school and getting into an argument with my friend, where I told her she had no right to tell her parents and get me into this mess, and that she was a C who needs to learn when to keep her mouth shut. She told me she was just trying to help me and I said she should have helped by not saying anything. She got really upset at me, told our other friends who now all think I'm a jerk. Calling my mom or bashing me because of my mother's decisions is really upsetting to me and I'd appreciate if you guys didn't, please. Story 5 AITA for not paying the full amount for a family-style dinner where I only ate bread. My wife and I are both vegan, but we don't make a big deal out of it. We don't judge others for their choices and we don't expect them to accommodate us. We usually just find something we can eat wherever we go, or eat beforehand if we know the options are limited. One of my friends invited us to his birthday dinner at a restaurant in Brooklyn. He said it was a last-minute thing and he didn't have time to make reservations, so we just had to show up and hope for the best. We checked the menu online and saw that there were not many vegan options, except for chips and guacamole, hummus, and bread. We decided to eat a snack at home and then order drinks and appetizers at the restaurant. We also have been tight with money lately because of some medical expenses, so we didn't want to spend too much on food we couldn't eat anyway. When we got to the restaurant, we found out that they were doing it all family style and splitting the bill evenly among everyone. There were about 15 people in our group, and they ordered a lot of food, most of which was meat or cheese-based. The only thing we could eat was the bread, so we just had a couple of slices each and 2 beers each. At the end of the night, my friend sent me a Venmo request for $120 for our share of the dinner. I was shocked by the amount, since our 4 drinks were only $32 plus tip, so about $40. I texted him back and explained that we didn't know it was going to be family style, and that we only had the beers and some bread. I said I would send him $60 to cover our drinks and a bit extra for the bread. He got angry and said that we should have told him we were vegan, and that it was rude to not participate in the family-style dinner. He said that everyone else paid their fair share, and that we were being cheap and selfish. He said that he expected us to pay the full amount. The decision to make it a family-style meal was done last second too because the restaurant had no idea a party of 15 was showing up. Otherwise, we could have split the bill per party and been fine. I don't think we did anything wrong. We didn't ask for any special treatment, and we didn't complain about the food. We just ate what we could and tried to have a good time. We also didn't want to make a scene or cause any drama by announcing our dietary preferences. We thought $60 was more than enough for what we consumed, and we didn't want to pay for food we couldn't eat. AITA. Story 6 AITA for not congratulating my sister-in-law on her pregnancy. My sister-in-law 33 just announced her first pregnancy. Me and my husband already have a 2-year-old and her twin sister already got a few kids. So she was the last of us. Here comes the twist. We lost our second born in July on their birth, in an absolute unpredictable way. We personally don't wait until a certain week to announce a pregnancy because life is unpredictable, and you have no guarantees anyway. So we announced this pregnancy way before week 12, and her exact words were, "You're pretty brave to announce the pregnancy that early." The birth of said child was also the reason we weren't able to attend her wedding, which just happened on the same day, a 4-hour drive away. We didn't spread the news about our son's death on that day though. She announced her pregnancy at a little get-together that originally took place to celebrate her and her twin sister's birthday. Apparently she wasn't pregnant with 1 child but twins, but lost the child early into pregnancy, and she was openly happy about it. She started listing all the reasons she was glad that she didn't have to buy everything twice and didn't have to do twice the work, etc. I was sitting across the table and I didn't even know how to react. First of all, of course, her pregnancy announcement triggered some feelings of jealousy, and I would have wished for her to tell us beforehand and not in a room full of people. But I'm not mad about that or anything, although I find it a bit insensitive. On the other hand, her happiness about losing a child left me speechless. I mean, I guess I kinda get her train of thoughts, but I think some thoughts are inside thoughts, and I must admit I felt offended about being confronted with her reaction to child loss in that kinda way. Anyway, neither me nor my husband got up to hug her or congratulate her, and she later on texted my husband that she wasn't happy about the way we acted.